States Congress in 1952, approved by a joint resolution signed by President Truman and amended by Congress and President Reagan with Public Law 100-307 in 1988, affirming that it is essential for us as a nation to pray, and directs the President of the United States to set aside and proclaim the first Thursday of May annually as a National Day of Prayer. And whereas in our city and across America, the observance of the National Day of Prayer will be held on Thursday, May 7th, 2026, with the theme Glorify God Among the Nations, Seeking Him in All Generations, based on the verse in 1 Chronicles 16:24, tell of his glory among the nations, his wonderful deeds among all the people. And now, therefore, Andrew Miller, mayor of the city of High Springs, does proclaim May 7th, 2026, as a day of prayer throughout the city, and commends this observance to our citizens, and requests that prayers would be lifted up throughout the city, with every generation seeking the Lord as we dedicate our lives, city, and nation to the glory of God.
Amen. Thank you, Minister Steve, for presenting that. And we hope everyone that can, please attend National Day of Prayer. Unfinished business.
Hold on, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Steve, do you have a time set for that day? Do you have anything?
6:30.
6:30, okay.
PM.
Thank you.
All right. Unfinished business. Item number 1, discuss, consider, and act on ordinance 2026-02.
I was on your CRA for a minute there. This is ordinance number 2026-02, an ordinance of the City of High Springs, Florida, providing for an amendment to the Land Development Code to permit alternates on the Plan Board, amending Appendix B, Article 10, Part 10.02.00 of the Land Development, providing for the appointment of alternates on the Plan Board, establishing qualifications and terms of the alternate members, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date. So you'll remember this from your last meeting. This has the edits that you all requested. Those were made by North Central Florida Regional Planning Council. Should theoretically now reflect what it is that you would like. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Mr. Mayor, I have a quick question, if I may. Kirsten, in this goes to the Historic Preservation Board.
Okay.
Section 10.02.05.01, number 5, it talks about the vacancies there. Should that language mirror what it has for the Plan Board, since those two bodies are the same?
So you don't necessarily have to have them for the Historic Preservation Board. You certainly could, but because they are the same body, because they're the same people, but they are different boards. So it would need to be either, I mean, you could do both, but it would need to be a separate amendment in order to provide for both of those boards having an alternate.
I mean, do you feel that there's any value in that? I mean, it would just kind of organically happen anyway, right? We don't need to spell that out.
Sure, I don't think that you would necessarily need to spell that
Okay.
out, because the way that you've spelled it out previously is that they're taking over for only when there's a vacancy.
And the language that's put in here, to me, reads that the alternate does not necessarily automatically transfer to a new permanent, but subs in until such a time that you appoint a permanent, but that alternate would be
Could be,
allowed
yes.
to apply to
permanent.
be a permanent.
Just make sure
Okay.
that it comes back to you.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
So is that how it was read before, that the alternate didn't automatically take position?
I'm trying to recall. I don't know that we had that. That wasn't a necessary provision in the past one, because the way that we had contemplated it before was that you all were going to appoint alternates who would step in, even like if there's a 1 meeting vacancy. So we hadn't considered long-term vacancy in the previous one, is my recollection.
So, now that's the only thing I don't understand. If I'm an alternate, I got to reapply. What was the purpose of me being the alternate if I wasn't going to just automatically go if somebody quit?
Because there's the perk to the city, obviously, is that you don't have a lag time So they could step in immediately. If you have a vacancy that comes up, someone quits the board the day before a meeting, you have an alternate that can go in there, and then you all have time to appoint someone. Very well could be the alternate. I imagine in practicality it will usually be the alternate.
Could we? But the only thing about that is we're wasting extra paper. Could we not just make it where they automatically go into the position? Because we're gonna bring this back up. We're wasting extra paper, even if it's only $5 that we're spending to print out all this. We're gonna have to print out. Then we're gonna have to take time in a commission meeting to vote somebody in that's already gonna be voted in anyways. Could that language just be taken out? Is that necessary language?
I don't know. I kind of look at it like a probationary period to give them a chance to have a time to where they test out if they like it, because they're not mandatory to be at every plan board meeting. It's optional because they're just an alternate. And then once they get in there, they may realize, you know what, this wasn't what I thought, and maybe I don't like it, and it open it up for somebody else so that they don't have to get up there and then be like, you know what, I'm out anyway, and then we got to repost that position. So I kind of read it like, I mean, I thought your same thing too, like, but then I thought, maybe it's a little probationary period, and then if their attendance is poor, then maybe we don't want to move forward with that person. Maybe we want to get somebody else in there if we realize they can't fulfill the time obligation to it. So I don't mind spending the extra, couple dollars here and there if it means getting them a shot to do it and see if they like it, and then we are happy with them. A little probationary period never hurt anybody.
Yeah, that was the reason I was bringing it up, just to see about getting some more people involved.
Yeah.
And sitting on the sideline to see if it's something they want to get into.
Yeah.
To answer your question, you certainly could have that as a provision if that's what you chose.
I understand, Mr. Mayor, your perspective in terms of seeing it as a perceived waste of paper, and I get that. We don't need to spend any money, but to Commissioner Grunder's point, I think it's a good idea that, they may get in there and think, yeah, not for me. I'll fulfill this alternate role. Now, Kirsten, could they, if we filled it with somebody else in a permanent position, could that person remain as an alternate just to pinch it if they were willing?
No, I imagine that person likely would. Let's say that you did fill it with someone else, unless that person quit as an alternate or you remove them as an alternate. If a permanent was put in, they would just go back
They
to
could
their
just
alternate
stay.
status.
I entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we accept ordinance 2026-02.
Second.
Any citizen comments? This is a roll call vote.
Miller,
No.
Vice Mayor Bloodsworth,
Yes.
Commissioner Grunder,
Yes.
Commissioner Howell, is absent, sorry, Commissioner White.
Yes.
All right, it passes 3-1. Citizen requests and comments that for issues not on the agenda, please state your name for the record. Limit comments to 5 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor Commissioners. I just want to invite you, every one of you, this weekend to the 49th Pioneer Days. It is, besides the regular different craft booths that we're going to have, we obviously will have music. We're going to have the Teeny Weeny Circus, Cracker Jack, and the banjo playing cowboys will be there. We're going to have some donkeys doing something. I'm not sure what, but they're going to be there. And as well as music. So Saturday and Sunday, so please come on out and enjoy yourself. Thank you.
Sue, I got a question for you real quick. Mr. Mayor, is that okay? Can I ask a question? Totally off. I heard this morning that there's not going to be a gunfight. Is there?
There is.
There is a gunfight?
That is the, they broke up a bit, but there's the other part of that group that's going to be there. And yes, there's going to be the cowboys there. That's the Cowboy Jack and the banjo playing cowboys, but there will be a shootout down there.
I had a citizen stop me in front of City Hall this morning saying that he heard that there wasn't, so
No.
I was just going to ask you. So there is one.
Yeah, there were some issues going on, but that was resolved and they will be there.
Good, thank you.
And one other thing I wanted to add about the Pioneer Day, Tesla will be there letting you experience a Tesla to be self-driving you. So that's another attraction that will be at Pioneer Day this year.
David Lynch I've been making plans for my funeral, and I would like to ask the city manager and the commissioners if I could have my funeral advertised on the city sign out front. I would be willing to pay for it.
I mean, I don't know, are you joking or are you being serious? I don't know.
No,
You want it advertised on the front one?
yeah,
We'll see. We can,
huh?
we'll see what we can do. You're a legend. Maybe we'll figure something out.
Could that be done?
I don't want to do it because if I do it for one, I got to do it for everybody that dies in High Springs. But we'll have to do something special for you.
How much would you charge?
Not a penny to you, sir. Not a penny.
Well, I think I'll probably live another 4 or 5 years, but anyway, I am making plans for my funeral.
Damn.
So I beg the city manager and the commissioners not to pave over our beautiful concrete streets that are so historic, so unique. And High Springs Brewing, does the city manager and the commissioners want the name of their city associated with a product that kills 7,000 people each day?
All right, are those all the citizen comments? Mr. David, I just want to say we hope that you live a long time. For your age, you are in great shape. If y'all see Mr. David Lynch, he walks up and down these streets.
Sure does.
Yeah, so you are in great shape for your age. So we pray that you live a long, long time. Any other commissioner comments? All right. New business item number 1: discuss and consider an act on resolution 2026-L.
Mr. Mayor, this is your traffic signal maintenance and compensation agreement between us and FDOT. This is just an annual agreement that you do every year. It's for the maintenance of your streetlights.
I'll make a motion we approve resolution 2026-L.
Second.
Any citizen comments?
Mr. Mayor, can I ask just one quick question? There's no changes? No, I'm sorry, Sue. I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
The only question I have is that this talks about the 2 intersections, but my question is the crosswalk, which is down there on Main Street, and I think it's 185th or 184th by Decades. Who's handles that maintenance? Where's the contract on that? Because that's not included in this. If
This-
there's another contract, fine.
So this is just for the traffic signals, the lights, not the crosswalk. You're talking about the flashing light?
Right, I'm just wondering if there is a contract, because my understanding is that the city is supposed to maintain that,
I think,
and one of those are not working.
I don't have the answer for you. I'll look into it next week. I think we take care of that. So you said there's a light out.
Yes, the
Alright.
one on the west side does not blink.
What's the intersection again, Sue?
Main Street, and it's 185th or 184th Road, Chief?
And the Public Works is aware of it, about the light. They're taking care of the crossing light. They're aware.
So it's our responsibility.
Yeah, I think it's the city's.
Yes,
Okay.
from my understanding, it's the city.
Let me double check on that, Sue. I don't want to give you the wrong answer, but I am 90% sure that's our responsibility, and I'll follow up with Public Works next week to
Okay,
see
I
what
just
we
didn't
can
know
do.
if that was something covered by an outside group or not, and wasn't on
No,
this,
I don't
that's
think
all.
so because that's a city road, isn't it, Chief?
It's a state road, but I think we had the installation on it, so I think we were responsible.
Let me
for
look
it.
into it,
Okay.
Sue.
Thank you.
It
Thank
would
you.
have been back when Mr. Thomas was the Public Works Director.
Mr. Mayor, if I could just clarify, the fee, is it the same?
It's the same, yes, from last year?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, this is a roll call vote.
Vice Mayor Bloodsworth.
Yes.
Commissioner Grender.
Yes.
Commissioner White.
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes. All right, new business item number 2, update on CRA and update on Priest Theater funding.
So I think that was supposed to be update on the audit and the Priest Theater funding. Let's talk about the Priest Theater. We can do that a little quicker. You have an email. Ashley Malden she has done 97% of this, probably 98% of this Priest Theater project is falling on Ashley Malden. I signed the papers, that's my 2%. She does it all. We were surprised when we heard that at the last meeting. We got a hold of the state. The state says, no, the Priest Theater funding is not in danger. It's a separate appropriation through the legislative. It's already been approved, and we've already gotten the expenditures approved. So the Priest Theater funding is not in jeopardy. What is in jeopardy is, because of the audit being late, is our funding that we get from State Revenue Fund and JLAC for our CRA. JLAC is holding any funds. We can't get them released until the audit is done. So after listening to the last meeting, I set up an audit meeting with the auditors and our consultant. I asked the mayor to attend, and he was unable to. So I called different commissioners, and today I was able to get Commissioner Whites to show up. I wanted a commissioner to sit in that meeting, because you hear from me all the time, oh, the audit's doing great, we're moving it along, which we are. But I wanted a commissioner to be able to hold me accountable. Since y'all can't be there, I tried to get a commissioner, and it was going to be Chad, and Chad got stuck at work, so Commissioner Whites jumped in about 10 minutes before the meeting and jumped on. So the audit is doing good. The auditors are not waiting on the city for anything. Well, let me say that back. They sent 2 additional questions today. We'll get those taken care of over the weekend. But they're not waiting on the city for anything. They're reviewing the documents that we have sent. We got 22 items fulfilled this week alone. And what they're doing is they're just going through, cleaning up a lot of the back end stuff. Everything that the city, everything from us should be done May 1st. Then they do their audit and their partner review. They hope to have that done by May 15th. So our audit should be done May 15th. They will give us a few weeks, about a month to 6 weeks in between, because there will be findings. There's always findings on an audit. And if we don't address those findings and it comes up on another audit, that's 2 audits in a row and we get dinged bad for that. So what they'll do is give us 6 weeks to address the findings, write any policies, correct anything, and then mid-June probably they will start on 2025's audit. We're not waiting around. Already asking them, what do you need for the beginning of 25? So while they're in their downtime, you guys remember I said they were in a grade out period? That was from January 1st to March 31st. They didn't touch our audit. They were doing all the cities that are compliant to keep them compliant. So our audit's going to be getting done, but we're already working on 2025. During that grade out period, we worked on getting 2025 stuff loaded. We got a good chunk of it already done. So 2025, and after 2025, God willing, there's no reason why we should ever be late on an audit. Now, I will say this, I'm not knocking any administration, I'm not knocking any commissioner, I'm not knocking anybody, but as a community, it has to be unsatisfactory for you to be late on your audits. We were so far behind that I've been here 2 years. We are not auditing my work yet. I'm still auditing previous administration's work. You guys, we can't see how effective we're being now. So, God forbid, you guys fire me next week. You need to hold whoever's in this seat accountable for that audit. Being 3 years behind is unacceptable. So you got to keep it going. So we will get it caught up, and 2026 audit should be on time, and we won't be behind on audits anymore. Commissioner White's asked a great question today. She's asked a question that I've kind of mentioned. You guys were We're talking about the implications of the audit, funds are being held, but why? Why were we so late? And the question was answered. For one, there was a lot of turnover of staff between finance and the city manager at that time. But in 2022, we had a finance director here for just, we'll say 6 months. I don't know. She was only here 6 months. But during that time, she changed all the chart of accounts. And I forget the term that the auditors use. There's a term about what they use for the audit of, or the chart of accounts. It should be standardized the way it is. We unstandardize it, and it's a mess, and they're still messing around with it, trying to get, while you guys were talking during CRA, I was looking at audit. They're still doing back-end stuff. Another problem is, and I've heard it from interviews when I did finance directors, we ended up hiring a contracted finance director. She started on Monday. She's doing great. And the auditors. Not one person has one single thing good to say about Springbrook. It is not good for government accounting. And what problems that they're running into, and this is really getting into the weeds, is you have to map everything. So if I enter something here, it triggers this, this, and this on the back end. When they change those account numbers, everything on the back end of Springbrook is getting messed up. So when Grace enters something in, it's not always doing the right debits and credits. It's going to the wrong pools and it's pulling the wrong stuff. So we're not getting accurate reports. They mentioned it today, and I kind of quilled it quickly when our finance director in the audit said we need to look at a different accounting software than Springbrook. Everybody's saying that. It's expensive and it is very time consuming. What I don't want to do is I don't want to do a change like that. We need to keep, for me, I think it's a garbage system. I've really got into it since our last finance director's left. I've been your finance director, so I've really dug into the software and I agree it's garbage. But I don't want to change it when we're in the middle of an audit being behind. Let's get through these audits, let's get these financial reports they need, and then once that's off our plate, we can work with IT and whoever our permanent finance director will be to take a look at getting a good finance software, because Springbrook is not getting updated anymore. It's not adequate, and everybody has talked about what a system, it's not the system for government accounting. Commissioner Weiss, do you want to add anything from our meeting?
Well, a lot of what you've already said I had written here, so Springbrook not being a strong government accounting system, they were really clear about that. The Uniform Chart of Accounts,
That's what it's called.
I wrote it down because I wouldn't have remembered, is a huge undertaking. Huge undertaking. So that was all changed in 2022, and that those effects are still being felt now. What Mr. Marshall said about the mapping, the auditors they absolutely echoed that there are still issues on the back end where it's not being put in the right place. And they started on this back in July. They received trial balance information from us in August, final balance from us in October. They sent back to us for more information in late November, early December, at which point we were a little bit dead in the water. And then we hit their gray out period, January through March 31st. So what that means is that this has been going Mach 10 with its hair on fire for 23 days. And we have made profound progress in terms of finalizing this. The lady that we were speaking from, her last name is Sear. She's no relation to apparently our outfielder. She was in Maine. She worked on this for us years ago, and then she got pulled back into it. And she commented that things are in much better shape now than they were. So we're moving in the right direction, but I think it's important to underscore that a bulk of this work has been done in 23 days. And I imagine that it's been taking up most of your time every day. They did, Mr. Marshall won't say this, but they did, more than one of them said that the city is being incredibly responsive. Well, that's what we want. You know, we're putting the full court press on Mr. Marshall to get this done, and he has taken that to heart. Then, as Mr. Marshall said, their goal is to have everything wrapped up by May 1st, the draft by the 8th, and then finalized by the 15th. They're plugged in, and they're doing the work that needs to be done. But, you know, in my day job, I do payroll. When you have accounting issues change, it impacts payroll. I mean, it impacts everything. Angela runs our payroll. Angela probably remembers when we did charts of accounts and we changed everything over, how that impacted Angela's every day. I don't know if it still impacts her every day, but I know it probably did back then. Can you, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but can you, people specifically, we don't understand. We're not on the administrative side. We don't understand that impact.
When they changed the chart of accounts, we literally had to, so we manually had to go in and change each individual employee that we were paying all along. Because when that account number changed, all of a sudden everything said, do not use. And so each employee, to get the payroll to process, you had to go in and change whatever line item it was coming from. Well, what would happen is it would stop our payroll if you had a workers' comp code and that went to a line item or a chart of accounts, and it didn't match because it said do not use, and it was, you can no longer use it. So then it would start holding up payroll, and then all of a sudden we'd get reports if we got payroll to go through, okay, we've got it done, then it'd come back, it wasn't mapping to the right place, so finance was sending it back up, you need to fix it, and every time we thought we fixed it, there was another little thing in the background that you didn't know it was connected to through another. When they entered the workers' comp code for, say, police officers, it would be in 3 different places, and then you didn't know, and you only knew the 2 because that was done during setup. It just became a huge chaotic mess. And we don't do payroll in Springbrook anymore, so I don't have to deal with that end of it. But up until the end, we were still running into issues.
Angela, I don't know if you know the answer to this or not, but why did we make a change?
I don't know the answer to that. That was done with the finance director and city manager at the time. I'm not really sure why they did that.
I'm sure there was some goal or objective.
Yeah,
I have no
yeah.
doubt, but it's sorry?
Change to
Chart of accounts, where everything goes and how it's reconciled.
Change the numbering system.
I don't want
of
to
it.
I don't want to assume, the 4 of you understand what the chart of accounts is? Does everybody understand? I just want to make sure. So when they changed all the numbers and the system lost all its tracking. So we had to rebuild a whole back-end system with that.
So that's really, they did, as Mr. Marshall said, they've already blocked off June and July for us, but of course, for us, that's also gonna be budget season, so that's gonna be kind of a double whammy, but, they're ready to go, and we're making good progress. I don't know how much SRF money we're gonna end up potentially losing. That's unfortunate.
Again, just as a reminder, when the previous finance director, we parted ways, I called each of you, remember, we're gonna get letters from JLAC, we're gonna have money withheld. I tried to be upfront with you guys about that. Their audit is serious. As a city, we can never let this happen again. Never.
I feel like you've always been playing catch-up.
I have. We started 3 years behind, and I'm hoping this will be the last time we have to talk about a late audit. I'm hoping.
I think we're moving in the right direction. That's what we've been needing is progress, and now I think we can see the progress.
And also about it is it's very, very hard as a city manager to go into budget not knowing good numbers. I don't know what I have to work with. I can start to see what I have done so I could show you guys how the city is moving. I can't tell you I could tell you our financial situation. I've been telling you for 2 years. But I can't give you guys an accurate picture because I don't know what fund balances and trial balances and all the stuff that you get from the audit. The audit is very important. So again, if you never remember me for anything, remember the city can never be behind on audit again. Most important, as a commission, you can't tolerate it.
Well, I mean, what we've been pretty supportive of moving forward. I'm not sure administratively what else we can do because we can't get into the administrative side of it. That's a charter violation.
We take care.
So
We
you know,
got it. 23 days, and
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
been cranking.
Yeah. I just want to remind everybody that in times like this where there's a lot of trouble and a lot of tribulation, that teamwork is what makes it different. Teamwork is what gets us through. You know, and what I would like is when we received the letter from the state in terms of JLAC funding, we got that 2 days before our last meeting. The CRA board didn't see that. And then, you know, a citizen did a public records request the day of the meeting and knew more than we did. Well, that's not us being a team. We need to be a team on this. I think it would be appropriate if there's a request to send that on to us. That's not a violation of anything. Somebody could make a request that you send that to the CRA board, yes? That's not a charter violation, that's no sunshine law. I mean, that's something coming to the city, and not informing the board is not helping to solve the problem. I mean, it makes the board look like we had no clue what was going on, because we didn't. I'd like to know what's going on, so. And Kirsten, I appreciate how responsive you were to the request for help. Mr. Marshall, you responded a minute later, so I think there's been very real-time supportive communication in terms of this. Kirsten, do you have enough information now specific to Craft that responds to the state in terms of the dates?
So we've reached out in terms of the dates. So I actually had put in a call to Florida Commerce to talk to them about this issue. I reached out again today and I got a response email. They are informing us, and I guess I'll just read you the email because that's better than me summarizing the email. So they indicated that they were appreciative for the update. They asked that we provide them with any timeline changes, so we had estimated sort of near the end of the month that time. They noted that if the report is not filed before May 4th, the department will proceed with filing the petition. But upon the submission of the report and the receipt of a stop enforcement letter from JLAC, the department will dismiss the petition. So those are the kind of things that we've been talking about. There are going to be these short-term consequences, but they are responding and saying, thank you for the updates. Keep us updated as to the timeline.
So then the financial impact to CRA is that there will be a temporary pause of funding.
Yes.
Until we've got this squared away, but then they get their money.
That's our understanding.
I mean, I had a business owner ask me on Tuesday, what's going on with CRA? Are they closing down? You're closing them down. They don't have any money. They probably have a healthier fund balance than any other department in this city.
CRAs tend to.
So that's a great thing. So CRA is not closing down. And I think it can't be overstated enough that with that email, the letter coming in on the 7th, and Angela getting a public records request at 4:09 on the day of the meeting, or at 2:51, she had it completed by 4:09. So Angela, I want to thank you for how amazingly responsive you are always to public records requests. So, but we're definitely headed in the right direction. And Mr. Marshall, I appreciate the time and effort you've been putting in.
It's my pleasure. Is there any other questions about Priest Theater or audit funding I can answer?
I do. I have a question. If we decide, well, I know you said that you're thinking about staying with Springbrook until we catch up. So if we get a new finance director that's permanent by then, Springbrook has in-system training, right?
Their training is pretty poor.
Right, but is it tracked? So do we know how much this person is actually doing in-system training? Because like we have training on our laptops, but you can bypass it and just not do it.
I don't know.
So is there a way that we can track to see? Because I mean, even though it's poor, it could be the lack of somebody actually doing the modulars that's making them not realize Springbrook updated this. And then you're doing the old system and Springbrook has a training telling you that this has been updated. So, you know, that's very important to know, is the financial director actually doing any modular trainings?
Sure. So the finance director that we're contracted with, her name is Cheryl. She has experience in Springbrook. She was a finance director at a community that had Springbrook. She got rid of it very quick, but she's familiar with Springbrook, so that helps out that she's she's fixing a lot of this back-end mapping stuff too, or she will be. So, this director doesn't need the training, but when we get a permanent one, that's a good question. I'll look into the training.
Yeah, and then I don't know if this is overstepping commissioner boundaries. Is there a way that we can get a report once we do get a permanent one that you done did this many trainers? Or we can't get that.
You can, yeah.
Yeah, because I would like
You
to
gotta
see.
remind me, I mean, it'd be several months before we get finance director. You remind me about that, yeah, I can, there's no reason you can't have that.
So what is a off-the-wall price for a new software system for us? Any idea?
They vary so much. I was looking at them over the weekend. They vary greatly. I need a finance director to say, this is what we need. This is what I'm looking. I'm not a finance director, so I don't know. I don't want to pick out a software and then hire you as my finance director and say, here's the software you're going to use.
I got
You come in, tell me what it is we need, and as long as it's within reason, I'll come and advocate for it. I mean, there's a system I'm used to, and I think a majority of your municipalities are going to. It's called Tyler Munis. It's a great system. You can do a lot with it. It's more than just finances, but it's very expensive. And that system would solve a lot of our problems, but I don't know if we can afford a system like that. So we gotta, buying the cheapest is not always the cheapest. So we want to weigh it out and make sure we're getting what we need that could serve us for X amount of years that meets our needs.
Well, how long have we been in Springbrook?
Let's say
Good long time. That's why we bought the payroll. It was taking Angela an entire day out of every 2 weeks just to do payroll.
Yeah, that's why we went to Paychex.
Yeah.
That was one of the first things. I watched her. I remember it was like my first month here, and I was like, what are you doing? She's like, payroll. I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Mr. Marshall, I have a quick question if I could, Mr. Mayor. When we get to a point where we're caught up, the horizon is brighter, migrating over to another software, which is obviously something we're going to have to do, is the expense of that purchasing the new software, or also operating licenses? Is it both?
So we'll purchase the software. You'll have licenses for users, and then you'll also have an integration where they'll take all the stuff and export it out of Springbrook and then map it into the new system, and that is time and labor intensive. Going to a new software system is not as easy as them just plugging and playing. There's months of preparation going into changing that system. And I don't want to do it right now. I want to get through these audits. Thank you.
All right. And there's no more priest updates, right?
Nope.
Okay.
Do you have anything you want to give for a priest update?
All right. New business item number 3, discuss planner quotes for certified recovery residents.
So a couple of things on this. You have in front of you an email from Danielle that was sent at 4:08 today, as her and I were just sort of trying to circle up on where we were with the responses for quotes. So we've reached out to 4 individuals, not individuals, but 4 companies regarding quotes on this. KCT, we have not received a response. We reached out to Allison McGrath, who is out of the country until May. So we figured you guys may want to have it done faster than that. We reached out to EDA and NFPS, which is North Florida Professional Services, and those 2 are going to have quotes to us by next week. They've updated us and said that they should be able to get us a sense. We have a sense that it will likely be relatively expensive. So in the interim, while we're waiting for the quotes, we also wanted to provide you with what one of the other local municipalities, how one of the other local municipalities define CRRs, and how they deal with CRRs in their code. if you all decide based on those quotes that you do not want to expend the money for a professional planner, we do know that the city of Alachua's ordinance was put together by their professional planner, and so that might be sort of a bridge the gap way to get us to something, even if it's not perfect. So I have that provided for you here. Basically, they treat it as though they are group homes, community residential homes. Are essentially the same, and so I have those provisions for you here for you to take a look at. If you like this language, we can incorporate it, i.e. literally just copy and paste it into your code. That's something that we can do is, between Kristen and ourselves. We're happy to do that. Happy to answer any other questions that you have.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, so we haven't heard anything from KCT. She's working on her LDC, and she is the ultimate place where this is going to find a permanent solution, however, and we're just trying to bridge the gap.
Yes.
And their zoning codes that they have in here are different than ours, so I'm not
Yes,
quite sure
they are different.
how that translates to what we have.
It's going to be difficult to try and merge the two. I mean, it's less difficult than trying to write one from scratch.
Right.
So, I mean, we'll work with Kristen to try to match this as well as we can to your particular zoning codes.
Well, I'm guessing these are, equivalent to R1, R2 kind of things would
Probably.
be my guess.
Probably pretty similar.
Okay.
We'll just have to make sure that we do that analysis for each of those zoning codes.
So then this isn't going to cover the request that we had in terms of a setback from a place that serves alcohol.
No, so this will not cover that.
I get it. I mean, we've got to get something right now, and that's something we can work toward in the future. Thank you.
Is it smart for us to just wait for KCI? Or do we need to try to jump on it faster?
It is entirely up to you all there's risks and benefits, of course, to any action that you take or don't take, right? The risk of waiting is, of course, we don't have any regulations right now. The risk of going forward before we have, someone who's going to look at our particular code, not the code of the city of Alachua, but High Springs code, is obviously that it won't be a perfect fit. And so you sort of have that risk-benefit analysis. Now, it may be that KCT comes back and says it'll be $5 million in order to do this. That's obviously an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. Some amount that we're not willing to pay in order for them to do this temporary fix. And then we'll sort of be back to where we are right now, which is making a decision of, do we want to stay with nothing, or do we want to see if we can incorporate another municipality's ordinance that's been put together by their planners.
She has to actually do this, though, during her
The
rewrite.
permanent one she will be doing, yes, absolutely.
And
We
don't-
were hopeful that we would hear back from her before today.
Okay. And so what we have in place now is not enough. for
It's
sa-
not, we don't really have anything that covers CRRs right now at all.
And as a reminder, this should have been passed before January 1st. So, in the long.
So we passed that portion of it. We passed that portion of it at, I believe, the last meeting,
Oh, I
which was
wasn't
the
here. Yeah, you're
administrative
right,
difference.
You're right, I did, you're right. I'm sorry.
I did the same thing with Danielle this morning. I was like, man. And
I
then
know.
she's-
Sorry.
So now we would just be at risk of somebody coming.
If somebody comes in, we don't have anything that really fits. Now there's I think less than 300 of these in the entire state. So it's up to you all to tell me what level of risk you're willing to accept on each of those. But I just want you to have all the facts.
Because when is the rewrite plan to be done with?
So, she's done with the first phase. What's they call it, my city manager report, we have to do a public phase, One of them has to be 2 days at an event, so we're setting up this weekend at Pioneer Days. Ashley Malden is gonna work Saturday, I'm gonna work Sunday, cause Christy had a concert. And, we're gonna work, KCT will be there, and we're doing surveys. So part of it is reaching out to the public. What do you want in the land development code? There's a survey that we're gonna be doing, so that's part of the process. Christie's in the regional council meeting. Let me shoot her a message and see if I can get you a date for the completion.
Cause are we thinking about like the end of this year?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, don't hold me that, but it should be done by the end of this year.
So we'll get some FaceTime with KCT
Yes.
for this weekend to get somewhat of an idea
Yeah,
where she
yeah, I
stands.
get, when I'm sitting with her Sunday,
Yeah.
I got a bunch of questions I'm gonna talk to her about.
Maybe you can just
so-
hit us with an update on Monday or something, just shoot us an
Well, we
email or
need-
something.
Another thing I was gonna call my city manager report, we kind of breezed over it. We need to set a date for the workshop for the public safety, police and fire, for them to do their presentations to you. You talked about doing it just on a non-commission day. I talked to you guys during your one-on-ones. We need to move this fast. We do not have enough firefighters. They're resigning in droves. Chief Peters is now a permanent I think C shift lieutenant. He's riding the truck. He's working every 3 days, just like the rest of the officers, plus working Monday through Friday. Part-timers are coming in. We need to get an answer to these employees. They deserve an answer instead of us hanging in limbo. So, I can get you an answer at the next meeting. The next meeting is, I can get you guys an answer from KCT about when the LDC will be done.
All right, and then the permit process of a CRR, it takes a couple months, right?
The what part?
Like if somebody wanted to open up one, it would
Oh,
take
yeah, yeah, there's a whole process they gotta go through.
Yeah, I think we should wait it out. I mean, if it's gonna be done by the end of the year, why would we spend money? I think we could wait it out.
I would be very surprised if we got an application. I would be very surprised.
And I think if we keep talking about it on live, it doesn't make it better. So
I
Yeah.
completely agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree. Giving people ideas is not a good thing.
The good news is you passed the administrative part.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna get sued for not passing that.
I think we just let it ride. We see what KCT says. We may get lucky with her, or do we just let it ride and see what happens?
Oh, Chrissy's texting me. We're about 5-6 months into the 12-month process, so.
So we're talking 6 months, and there's going to be a period that they got to go through anyway. I mean,
Yeah, so we got another probably 6 months or so on the LDC. So to clean up my city manager report, we can skip that. If you're at Pioneer Days, come by the gazebo and fill out an LDC survey and have your voice heard.
boom.
all right. City attorney reporting update.
I think you've heard enough from me tonight.
City manager
Just
reporting
gave it.
update. All right. Commissioner Grunder,
You've heard enough from me as well.
Commissioner White.
I just want to encourage everybody to do the LDC survey. It's really simple. Online, you can do 2 phases, and we need that feedback. It would be really, really helpful. That's all I got.
Vice Mayor
I'm good,
Bloodworth.
thank you.
Just for everybody to know, when I passed the note to Jeremy, it was about the employee of the week. Miss Anna Marie, she is keeping finance day to day, and she is running and learning this new process. So we thank her for all her hard work. The only other question that I have is, I did get another phone call from another business owner that's trying to open up a business here in High Springs, and they're having a time and struggle as well. So I brought this up maybe a year ago. Is there something we can look into of why almost every time somebody open up a business in town, I'm like the first person they call, and they tell me they're having a struggle trying to open up their business here in town? Is there like a process that we're doing making it hard for people to actually open up a business?
I don't think we're making it hard. I just don't think we're doing it most efficiently. I have a feeling I know which business owner called you today, and it's not the city that's holding them up. It was if it was the same individual, it was a problem with an engineer. But I have heard it from other businesses as well, where it's just, there's a lot. You gotta get inspections, you gotta get certain permits, and, you know, a lot of it's not even at the city, it's different places you gotta do. But, no, we're probably not doing it the most efficient we can, so we can, let me kinda get some of the stuff off my plate, and maybe we'll do a good deep dive into it.
All right. Well, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Under an hour. Good